Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Dirt Road Reset. My name is Chad. So I called Scott up. You remember Scott from our last video, guy with the badass RTT, and told him, hey man, let's get outside and go do some exploring. We went to a place called Box Bar along the Rio Verde River in Arizona. It's a pretty cool place. If you're from this part of the country, check it out. Right outside the city limits of Phoenix, like literally minutes outside of a massive golf course. And you've got the Verde River flowing there. There was a lot of water, a lot of volume. Actually, I'd say there was probably a good, I'm not sure what the class of rapids are, but it was a good amount of water flowing in this river. It was picturesque, nice. The only problem was there was just too many people. So a good place to go, maybe take the kids for a day thing. But alas, Scott and I, we have four-wheel drive in both of our trucks. We decided to make the best of the situation and jumped in our trucks and drove on just whatever random dirt roads we could find in the area. And here we are about, I don't know, gosh, 5-10 miles tucked into the McDowell Mountain Wilderness in the middle of nowhere. And we have this. No MREs. It's just, I think that ship has sailed, guys. It's not my thing. They're convenient and they're impressive and there's a lot of food. And, for the bang for the buck, it's actually, it's worth it. And I'm not knocking them, okay? So don't take it that way. It's just the quality of the food that you're getting there, aside from the Skittles or the treats that you might get in there, is just not there. I found that of the two cases that I got of the menu A and the menu B, I could literally probably count on one hand how many meals I actually borderline enjoyed. Whereas, companies like Mountain House are cranking out some really good stuff right now, especially since they got the shorter bags that you can actually stick your effing spoon in now and not get your fingers dirty. Scott's got some really kick-ass freeze-dried stuff I want to show you. And he just whipped one out, and it's a gourmet. You would have thought that there was a hibachi chef here whipping something up. So yeah, thanks for coming along with us, and let's have some fun, do some overnight camping.
Oh, yeah. Women can't find you handsome, at least they can find you handy.
Right.
Red, green. It was just,
This is the moment of truth. Now, everyone wants to see you sit in it. Now, let's see if it works. Look
actually,
at that.
yeah.
Oh, that was uneventful. All right, so you guys all know what a big advocate for ham radio that I am, and this right here is the main reason. I am out in the middle of nowhere and have zero cell phone coverage. Nothing. And I would like to call home to a family member to let them know where I'm at precisely and that I'm okay. So let's do that right now. Anybody can do this, and it's inexpensive. You just need to get a ham radio license, which is under, $30. And you do have to do a little bit of studying for the test, but anybody can do it, and I'm telling you guys, it is a lifesaver. Watch how easy this is with a ham radio. By the way, you can do this on any type of ham radio that does 2-meter frequencies and 70 centimeter frequencies. We won't go into the details of that, but I'm going to make a phone call on my radio where there is no cell phone service to my sister to let her know that I'm doing okay.
Hello?
Steph, it's Chad. I'm calling you from my ham radio, so it's one way, so I can't hear you if I'm talking. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. I had a feeling it was you because it came up as restricted.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I have zero cell phone service out here. I'm about 5 miles, about actually 6 miles west of Box Bar Recreation Area on a Can-Am two-wheel or 2x2 four-wheel drive trail with a buddy of mine back here. Can't wait to show you guys where I'm at because Aaron would have a blast on the Can-Am. But I just wanted to check in and let you know I'm okay and that I'll be here overnight, coming back tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. Have fun.
Okie dokie. See you later.
At 1:24 p.m.
And it's as easy as that, guys. I'm telling you, a true lifesaver right here. No cell phone service. I can send emails through this. I can send text messages through this. And you just saw me make a phone call through it. So get your ham radio license if this is the thing you're into. I could hear Scott out there sawing away with his none other than the Silky Gom Boy here. This is the straight blade. Guys, if you haven't checked these out, go on Amazon and get one of these. They're a revolution when it comes to cutting wood. Anyways, these things usually cut through most wood like butter. I heard Scott back there like heaving, like taking breaths between, and I thought this must be some pretty hard. No joke. This is Scott thinks it's mesquite. I would agree. Look at the grain on this wood. Each one of these little logs right here, this one that I'm holding here, is probably 3.5, 4 pounds. So for you guys that have never seen one of these before, this is the Solo stove, and this is the bonfire edition. I want to say it's probably 16 to 18 inches in diameter. I don't know what the exact, this isn't a review, so I don't know what the exact dimensions are. It weighs roughly 8 pounds. The way these work is just like the smaller versions do for cooking at a campsite, okay? So they make much smaller versions like this size, okay? And it uses an induction method of heating. And what happens is you put your fuel here. The fire pulls oxygen down from the bottom of the device here. It's a double wall, and there's also a layer underneath this, so it's pulling oxygen in underneath the fire, and at the same time it is superheating air between these two walls right here. And while that air is superheating, it's coming out of the vents right here. And then what happens is an induction occurs, and the superheated air comes out here, and the fire from right here ignites that super hot air right here, and it creates a very, very fast, hot, burning, efficient fire. There are downfalls to this in the sense that it will burn very quick. You're going to have to use a lot of fuel. You're going to have to use a lot of biomass and put a lot of wood in it. It burns very clean. There's virtually zero smoke, almost no smoke at all from this. It's actually a pretty cool light show too. Like you get all sorts of colors and stuff like that. And it burns everything down to an absolute powdery ash. There is nothing left. I have used this stove for a week straight at times on camping trips and been left with nothing but about 4 cups of ash afterwards. It's important. This is a pretty integral part in the piece of the Solo puzzle. So if you have one of these things, and this applies to even the small ones and up to this is the bonfire model. They make one model that's even bigger than this and a plethora of models that are smaller. But in all of them, one thing holds true that I see a lot of people making a mistake of when they're using these, and that is when you're putting your wood in, Ideally, for this thing to be completely 100% effective, your wood should not be above this lip right here. And that is so that the air can catch on these holes that are around the top. Earlier today, Scott and I, we were experimenting with flint and steel, the old caveman way of lighting fire. And I can't think of a more appropriate way to start this fire than with good old flint and steel. And I have a piece of flint, and we have the cold steel rod. And Scott went out for a hike out yonder and found a piece of quartz. So if you live in the desert Southwest, I mean, good piece of information to know is that quartz actually works. You can use that to create a spark with cold steel as well. Scott, where's that piece of quartz? I think we should try that. Char cloth here that I made. Guys, if you're looking for a way to make char cloth from home, super simple. You take an Altoids tin or any sort of metal tin, okay? And what I did here was took some old Hanes undershirts. It has to be 100% cotton. That's the key. It's got to be 100% cotton, nothing else, no polyester, no synthetics, anything like that. Take that cotton, roll it around loosely, okay? Put it in your tin when it's in its raw form, not burnt like this. Put the lid on it, poke a hole in the top. You can stick it on your stove top on high heat. Once it starts smoking out of this hole, take a lighter, light that smoke, and the smoke will light and it'll be a little candle. And the way you know your char cloth is done is when that flame from the candle, for lack of a better term, goes out. Once that candle goes out, pull it off, using an oven mitt, of course, and don't burn yourself. After a few hours, come back and check it, and this is what you're going to be left with right here. Good old-fashioned, highly flammable char cloth. So we're going to take our char cloth here, we're going to set it on top of this log. We're going to use a piece of cold steel here. Now, I have a piece of flint here, but being as we're in the desert Southwest, I want to use the quartz that Scott found earlier. But I don't know if there's any truth to this, but any sort of rock that's kind of opaque or translucent should work for you. So this is a good piece of quartz right here. The key to using flint and stone, and guys, I got to say, let me back up and say that aside from using a lighter, which is obviously the tried, true, and tested method of making fire, we've tried piston, we tried a couple other methods, and surprisingly, this was pretty quick. Not as quick as a match or a lighter or anything like that. But other than the piston shot method of lighting, of getting the char cloth to light, this was the quickest. Watch how it's done. So you're going to take your cold steel, you're going to take your char cloth, and you're going to take your char cloth and you're going to hold it with your quartz or your flint. Now we're going to do a couple strikes. We're going to light this char cloth and we're going to put that coconut husk on there and stick it in the fire. Here we go. Just like that. Got it. Okay, the char cloth is going. We're going to wrap it in that husk. And then we're going to stick it in there like that. We're going to stick it, come on. A little bit of grass. Come on, baby, burn. And folks, just like that, you got a fire. You guys can see like the flame coming out those holes there. The Camillus Carnivore X. So in this solo pit right here, we're cooking over it. And you guys probably can't tell from the video, there's probably an inch of embers down there. But it's all of this mesquite wood. And this is hot. It is so hot. Guys, look at this. So good, dude. That's really good. Yeah. This looks like out of a restaurant right here. All right, Scott, put your shrimp on the bobbies right there.
Oh, look at that. Nice.
Yeah. Oh,
one got away.
There we go.
It's all right.
All right. Well, morning has come here, and we've deemed this spot Daisy's camp. Is that right, Daisy? You kept guard over all of us last night, huh? Scott and I were talking, and it got pretty cold last night. We had a group of kids come by in their Can-Ams or their side-by-sides, and they dropped some ice out in the middle of the road out there. And as of right now, it's going on 10 o'clock, that ice is still sitting there. I woke up at one point and was freezing my butt off. Had to get under the layers and turn the little buddy heater on. I'd say it probably got down to the mid to high 30s last night. It got pretty cold. You know, we get a lot of people that ask, not me in particular, but I've had the question come up, and I've seen it on other sites and whatnot about cold weather camping. And granted, there's no snow here, but when you get into your 30s and your freezing ranges, there are things you got to do differently, obviously. But the biggest thing, and Scott and I were talking, that seems to be overlooked when this topic comes up is layers. You know, it's all about keeping yourself warm. I mean, literally. Having a good good outer layer, a good mid layer, and a good under layer, you know. And when you sleep, wearing as little as possible and letting your sleeping bag do what it's meant to do, and that's just to keep you warm. Getting a good 0 degree, 30 degree bag. You know, those R ratings are figurative. That rather than focus your attention on little buddy heaters and heating packs and Nalgene water bottles that are filled with hot water, just make sure you get yourself a good bag, and make sure you have blankets and whatnot. And one of the nice things about truck camping as well, you can do what Scott's doing right now and just turn your truck on and get inside and use the heater. This is a cool spot. We've named it, like I said, Daisy's spot. That cliff up there goes up, shoot, man, it's probably 100 feet. But we're gonna cook up some grub real quick and pack up and call it another trip, put it in the books. I want to push the importance of getting outdoors. If you or someone you know is suffering from any sort of mental illness, whether it be stress, anxiety, bipolar, PTSD, you name it, I cannot recommend enough to get outside, connect with nature, go on a hike, go camping, just go for a walk around the block if you have to. But get the professional help that you need, but nature is the best medicine in my opinion. It's worked for me, and I think it'll work for you.